And away we go. It is the nightcap. Everybody's favorite day of the week, Sunday. The AAC recap nightcap. Right here on BearcatJournal.com, brought to you as always by Galactic Fried Chicken. Visit www.galacticfriedchicken.com. Download the app for Android, iPhone, everything Galactic. Make sure you get down to Dayton, Kentucky. Tell them to pump it up. Save yourself 15%. Open Wednesday through Sunday, lunch and dinner. And hopefully you took my advice and you went down to Galactic. You got yourself some grub, watched the Bengals beat the Steelers today, and had yourself a Sunday. It was an icy white Sunday or icy white weekend in the Queen City. I don't know that we'll ever get that again, Aaron.
All white everything.
All white everything. Bearcats, icy whites. Bengals, icy whites.
Yeah.
Both wins. Maybe those should just be the default,
For everybody freaking out about white helmets, it seemed to be a good weekend for white helmets.
I like them. I like the icy whites. I don't mind the icy whites at all.
Ben Bryant might not like white helmets.
Yeah, I mean,
just saying.
It's not his fault.
No, he might not like him.
We'll see.
All right.
Well, interesting week. It's going to be an interesting week on the Prater Bryant front because, as they talked about on Bearcat Brunch today, tough to say. Short week. You're already in. It's already. You're going into Tuesday. Tomorrow is Tuesday, as I'm told by people that work at UC. Tomorrow is Tuesday. Ben Bryant was in a boot on, I guess, Sunday, as they would consider it.
How many people hopped in your mentions already trying to ask what's really wrong with Ben?
All of them.
Not all of the people.
Well, not as many as probably you guys, because now
I haven't had anybody. Apparently, okay. I've already set the bar.
Yeah, but not telling. We're not giving. So Jeff, they think Jeff is the weak link. They've been coming to Jeff.
Jeff's like, I've made it. People are hitting me up.
Yeah, me, Dave, and Aaron aren't telling. They know, and they know Brent. I can't tell him. He might tell you. Just kidding. Calm down, people. Calm down. Just you, Brent. That's the only. Whatever.
I still got to drive home. I would like to get this thing going.
Oh, I mean, we got 15, 17 more minutes. I do want to say one thing before we get into the AAC thing. There's a star emerging in the NFL. And his name's not Sauce. His name's not Kobe. His name's not Dez.
It's Defoe.
It's Defoe. And guess what? I'm not surprised, man.
That pick, he had a pick today. He had a pick last
second week in a row. He's one of the 3 highest graded safeties in the NFL.
He was 2 after last week. I don't know if he's
but he's right. But my point being,
I'm curious to see where the grades come out after this week. As again, like you just said, another pick.
So. That dude is again one of those dudes that we knew from the start, different, built different.
Yep.
You give him a chance, and the plan in Washington wasn't to give him a chance.
No, you could tell from the jump. Yeah.
There was an injury.
Yeah.
That kind of shuffled their secondary. It kind of forced Defoe onto the field.
His interception today was amazing. Nothing short of amazing. It was a toe tap.
I think he had to get the shoulder down. I think he got one toe down, and he had to get the shoulder down in bounds in order for it to count.
It was amazing.
He's a
hell of an athlete.
The thing that's amazing that I still can't get over, that secondary was so good. A second-round pick struggled to get on the field in Brian Cook because Defoe and Wiggins were in front of him. You had 5 NFL DBs, and we'll see with Hicks.
Yeah.
You had 5 NFL DBs. Defoe, Wiggins,
Sauce, and
Cook, Sauce, Kobe. We'll see with Arquan. Arquan's got a chance as well. There might be 7 DBs out of that backfield that end up playing in the NFL in one way, shape, or form. So, hey, Defoe's our guy. We will absolutely do everything we can in the offseason to get Defoe on. just because he's been one of my dudes for a long time. I was letting him marinate and build up his chops in the NFL. Now they're got him on podcasts for the team. He's killing it.
I always get excited when his dad likes or retweets something that I tweet out. So he certainly still follows the program. So
Derek's dad is and will always be a Bearcat.
He's the original Defo.
Yeah. So I just wanted to get that out there before we get into the AAC stuff. That hats off to that kid, because he had like this much of a window, right? And now you can't take him off the field. He's not coming off the field in Washington.
No.
Big time love it. All right. Let's go.
All right. Going back to Thursday, Tulane beat the brakes off of SMU.
Yikes.
Weird stats here, though. Tanner Mordecai.
Yeah, SMU dominated the stats, kind of, right?
Tanner Mordecai finishes 32 of 49, 298 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. He was relieved for the freshman Kevin Jennings, who went 3 for 3 for 31 yards. They didn't have a rusher over 100 yards. They finished with 44 rushes, 141 yards as a team, average of 3.2 yards. No receiver over 100 yards, although RJ Maryland, a tight end, freshman tight end, had 2 touchdowns, 6 catches, 61 yards. On the other side of the ball, though, Tulane, Michael Pratt, 9 of 14. They scored 59, and he was 9 of 14. 141 yards, 3 touchdowns. Here's where they did their damage.
Yeah, this is going to be a topic all week.
42 carries, 310 yards, 5 touchdowns running the ball. Tyjae Spears finishes with 13 carries, 121 yards, 2 touchdowns. It sounds intimidating, 13 carries, 121. His long was 48, so I don't know if he busted 2 longs to get there, but man, they had 2 more rushers over 70 yards in Shady Clayton Johnson, who
just an all-time great name.
It's 2 A's and an IE, Shady. So
Shady, right? Shady Clayton Johnson, like
yep.
That sounds like a Chappelle's show.
Fair enough. But eight carries,
Shady Clayton Johnson.
8 carries, 7.
Player haters ball.
I don't know why I tried to talk.
I'm back to the old AAC recap days where I'm just trying to distract you.
8 carries, 75 yards there.
Michael Pratt.
Michael Pratt, 10 carries, 70 yards, 3 touchdowns. So he had 6 touchdowns on his 211 yards total, all purpose. Unless he had a reception. Doesn't appear so. Shea Wyatt had 3 catches, 104 yards, 2 touchdowns. Productive day for him. But they made some things happen. They had 3 recovered fumbles.
But their defense is a problem.
Yeah. Their running game is a problem. Their defense is a problem. They're a good team.
So, they
finally put it together.
You know who they look a lot like? They do it a little different. What's their blueprint? Run game, defense.
It sounds like Cincinnati, except for this year.
Sounds like a Luke Fickell blueprint. So,
not this year.
Defense still. Pass game. Defense. Well, special teams and defense. That's the formula this year.
So that was Thursday night. On Friday night, South Florida went to Tulsa. Nobody won. Everybody loses when you go to Tulsa. But
everybody lost.
But 42-48 was the final there as Tulsa wins. I don't even know who this is.
There's nothing really.
I was going to say, Byron Brown looks like a freshman quarterback for South Florida. Went 21-25, 240 yards, 3 touchdowns. Brian Batty, he had 19 carries, 169 yards, and a touchdown.
The Prince kid had 220 and 2 for Tulsa.
Sean Atkins, 9 catches, 115 yards, and a touchdown. That's for South Florida.
If you're Tulsa, do you have to fire your coach?
4-7?
They can't make a bowl.
What are you building on?
Right? Like, you've gone backwards. You had one come up season, which was COVID. where games were affected and
things were crazy.
Things were crazy. You weren't very good last year. You've given UC fits, but your record doesn't reflect program progress.
No, you wonder how much of that progress was dependent on a first-round draft pick, NFL draft pick.
Right? I mean, I think he probably gets another year, but the ice is getting thin for the Golden Hurricane.
Braylon Braxton went 20-27 for 302 yards and a touchdown.
That might save you. He looks promising, Brendel Braxton.
I mean, that's an efficient day.
Yeah.
Deneric Prince, like you were saying, 26 carries, 220, 2 touchdowns. Keelan Stokes, 6 catches, 145 yards, a touchdown. If Keelan Stokes leaves, he is a senior. I don't know if he still has eligibility, but if he leaves, I don't know. They might be in shambles.
I mean, Prince, I guess Prince is weird.
You got to get another receiver though, because Keelan Stokes is
he's their entire passing.
He's their receiving core.
Stokes had 2 attempts in 18. Didn't play in 19. Has played the last 3 years. I would guess he has at least another year if he wants to use it. Prince. I mean, I don't know why.
You just went 4-7, and you had a great season.
Yeah.
Do you come back if you're Keelan Stokes? You almost got knocked out of your season.
I'm talking about Prince, but yeah, either way. Stokes, let's see what his eligibility looks like. Yeah, he should be done. He played 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22.
Keelan Stokes did?
Yeah.
Yeah, he might be done.
He came into college when Desmond Ridder did.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know Cincinnati wins in Philly 23-3 on Saturday.
Yeah.
Weird game. We did talk about it already last night. We'll talk about it plenty tomorrow, so I'm not going to get into that game anymore here.
Fair.
Maybe the biggest game in the conference of the weekend. Navy knocks off UCF in the bounce house, 17-14.
Did you see how trending Fire Gus was?
I saw the tweet where they looked it up and we're scrolling, and yeah, I said it I said it this morning on the Bearcat brunch. I saw somebody's tweet, and I have to find it because it's funny. I did retweet.
No, I know exactly what you're talking. Well, you missed that when I watched a little bit. You missed the part that was important. The part that was important was the comment was maybe this is why that you made. Maybe this is why UCF was able to beat Auburn in a bowl game.
Right.
The important part was maybe this is why Gus can beat like Alabama and Georgia.
Right.
And then lose to us in the bowl game, which is exactly what I said Thursday with Dave.
And
Gus always has. He had a winning record against Nick Saban.
I just want to give credit where credit is due. It came from @3Knights7, and that's number 3 Knights, number 7. Here's a sobering thought. Maybe we're seeing why in the Peach Bowl we beat an Auburn team that beat Alabama and Georgia.
Yeah.
And I thought that was hilarious.
I said it last week. He has one of these, or in his history, there is always something like this. That is why he got fired at Auburn. He won a national championship, or but there was always something like this that made no damn sense.
So Navy throws the ball one time, incomplete, but Daba Fofana goes 20.
Fofana, banana, Santa Fofana, V5 Fofana, Fana.
20 carries, 114 yards there. As a team, they rushed the ball 63 times, 248 yards. Not a great day, but got the job done.
UCF couldn't move the ball.
UCF, John Rice Plumlee started the game, 11 of 18, 107 yards, no touchdowns, threw a pick. Mikey Keene comes in at halftime, goes 8 for 15, 123 yards, and a touchdown. Here's the problem, Chad. If they had been smart and not been so stubborn with John Rice Plumlee,
run the ball.
Well, start the game with Mikey Keene and game plan with Mikey Keene.
Apparently, the story that I've seen today is that John Rice Plumlee's shoulder, he had a shoulder issue, and they still ran him out there.
That's
And
stubborn.
then he tried to make a throw like right at the gun at halftime, and he underthrew it by like a mile. And they were like, we can't put him back out there.
Javon Baker.
But here's the thing, Aaron. When they put Mikey Keenan, he was great the first drive and did nothing the rest of the game.
I just don't think they know how to call them. They don't know how to call an offense for him yet.
No, well, they never will because Gus is RPO,
Gus.
RPO,
Right.
read option, RPO.
Right.
He cannot design a guy just stand like the UC win was just by accident because they had to like scale it back and just be very basic. And Mikey Keene made the throws.
I still believe, after watching that game this weekend against Navy, I still believe that if John Rice Plumlee stays in the game against Cincinnati, UC wins.
Yep.
Crazy. Javon Baker, 6 catches, 101 yards, and a touchdown. Outside of that, not a ton to talk about. But obviously, implications are huge, and we'll get to that here at the end after we're done going through scores. But very, very important for Cincinnati's final run of the season that UCF loses this game. Houston.
Well, the thing that's out, UCF hosting the championship game is out.
Gone. Yeah.
There is zero because somebody has to win Cincinnati, Tulane, and the winner of that will have one conference loss. Whoever
wins that game will host. Yep. So next game, Houston moves to 7-4. ECU just shows what happens when you lose a close game to Cincinnati. I don't know what happened. Houston just undressed ECU in Greenville. Clayton Tune goes 32 of 44, 435 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a pick. He also had 6 carries, 43 yards. They had 2 receivers over 100 yards as Nathaniel Dell had 9 catches, 176 yards, and a touchdown. And Matthew Golden, 8 catches, 127 yards, and 2 touchdowns. ECU, on the other hand, woof. Holt Nailers, 15 of 30, 182 yards. No touchdowns, no picks. Keaton Mitchell, 14 carries, 128 yards there. But collectively, they had 22 carries for 118 yards. So they actually lost yardage with everybody else.
Every other carry, they lost yards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's not good.
Aaron, I'm going to say something crazy. I fire Mike Houston tomorrow.
I think
he's an excuse maker. He's a whiner. And you know what he's not, above all? A winner. He's not a winner.
It's a tough call because do you let him go and see what happens in the bowl game with him and Holt Nailers? Let him get one
Holt
last.
Nailers is gone, dude.
He got knocked out of the game.
No. This is it for Holt Nailers.
That's what I'm saying. Let him ride off into the sunset. Let them play their last bowl game together. They got 6 wins. Let them play their bowl, ride off into the sunset together. See ya.
I fire him tomorrow. That guy's not. I have low tolerance for losers.
Holton was relieved by sophomore Mason Garcia. Garcia goes 2 of 5 for 15 yards. If this is the guy that you're handing the keys to, good luck.
Right?
He also had 3 carries for 3 yards. So
they have only last year was the only bowl game they made in the Mike Houston era, and it was canceled because it's Boston College and they don't really want to play in bowl games.
One more game to get to.
He's had 1 winning season.
Oh, that's not good. But how long has he been there?
2019, 4-8, 1-7 in conference. 2020, 3-6, 3-5 in conference. 2021, 7-5, 5-3 in conference. This year, 6-4, 3-3 in conference. Year 4, man. He's 20-23 and 12-18 in the American.
I just don't know what firing him right now is going to get you.
I agree with you, but I'm of the belief that once you know it's not working,
let him play. Let him finish the season out.
yeah.
And
Once you know it's not working, just
pull
off the Band-Aid. Pull off the Band-Aid. That guy's not. I probably would not be taking this stance if he didn't act the way he did after the game last week and then have his team respond. If his team responded, that Houston team had given up 1,000 points in the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not as if this game had no implications for if you're ECU, this game had huge implications for trying to get into a conference championship.
Or a conference championship, yeah. Sorry, they were bowl eligible.
You let Houston back into the conversation.
You could have knocked them out. Houston would have been done.
Yeah, it would have been a death knell for sure.
There would have been 3 teams competing for the conference championship. Houston would not have been one of them. And ECU rolled over and let Houston just rub their belly.
One last game to talk about. I don't know. I don't have much to say about this game. North Alabama played Memphis. Memphis wins 59-0. Seth Hannigan.
North Alabama was 1-10 and 0-6 in conference. I have nothing to say.
Seth Hannigan goes 14.
No, I don't want the stats. I don't care.
All right, fine.
I don't care.
I don't. No one went over 100 yards offensively.
No one cares, Aaron. No one cares.
Yeah.
No one cares. Memphis beat North Alabama.
You shouldn't be allowed to schedule these games this late in the season. Alabama did the same shit. That's how the SEC operates. Actual Alabama did the same shit. You just shouldn't be allowed to schedule games like this late in the season. It's stupid.
Almost the entire SEC schedules a bye game.
Stupid.
Either week 12 or week 13.
I don't know why we let them do it. We're at 22 minutes already. Real quick, Cincinnati moves up to 21 in both polls. We'll see how that shakes out for the CFP, as that's going to start getting interesting because there's obviously going to be a ton of turmoil here in the near future. It'll be interesting to see if they, had there been an expanded playoff, been the team that made the expanded playoff. Outside of that, like we said, Cincinnati is certainly still in the mix for getting into the championship game, as they sit with 6-1 with Tulane, also at 6-1 with a game against Tulane looming next week. UCF still at 5-2, Houston at 5-2. Tiebreaker would go to obviously computer. It's going to go to a computer.
If Houston and UCF win and there's a 3-way tie, it goes to a computer.
Right.
If not, it goes to head-to-head. UCF has the head-to-head over Tulane. If Houston loses, UCF is going to play in the championship game.
Now, Houston plays Tulsa. Tulsa coming off of their win. We'll see. But
who knows with Houston?
The game
Who fucking knows with Houston?
The game's in Houston, so we'll see. Houston currently has the spread at 12. UCF.
There will be a fight of some sort.
Sure, that's Tulsa's MO.
But it's Houston's MO. It's Tulsa's MO. There will be some sort of fight in that game.
It depends. Are they going to be fighting themselves, or are they going to be fighting each other?
I'm not.
That's the wild card, right?
I'm not smart enough to answer that question.
UCF goes to South Florida. They are favored right now, 18 points. That's coming at Saturday at 7. So both those games on Saturday night, 7 and 7:30 for the Tulsa-Houston game. ECU at 6-5, they're out of it, but they go to Temple. Memphis goes to SMU. Nobody cares about 2 6-5 teams. But it seems pretty much the entire conference is bowl eligible outside of Tulsa and South Florida.
No, Navy.
Oh, they're not playing, so I didn't see them on this docket. You're right.
Yeah,
they play. They're like the only game week 14 or week 15.
There's 7 teams. There's 7 teams bowl eligible: SMU, Tulane, UCF,
UC,
Cincinnati, Houston,
Memphis,
ECU, Memphis. Temple cannot make a bowl. Navy cannot make a bowl. Tulsa cannot make a bowl. South Florida cannot make a bowl.
All Cincinnati has to do is win. Beat Tulane, you host the game. Win that game, you're in the NY6, going to the Cotton Bowl. You are
it's probably Alabama or Tennessee.
You are fully in control. I don't even want to go to that game. That's gonna.
If it's Tennessee, it's interesting because Hendon Hooker's out.
There is that.
And it would be the Simone Bowl. I think it would be like there would be a lot of content we could have fun with from the Simone Bowl. That's the last thing he wants. He does not want any part.
Refused to talk about the Tennessee game.
Any part of Tennessee, Alabama, or Tennessee, Cincinnati.
Just win, and we'll see what happens the rest of the weekend. As
we were going to talk some basketball here, but we're at 25 minutes. We'll get to it next week. Congrats to UCF on winning the MTE in the Bahamas. Good for you. Tomorrow, long night.
Long night.
I mean, a long night.
I still got to get home. I'm looking at right now.
You're not even in Athens. You're in Cincinnati.
No, correct. I got about 2.5 hours ahead of me. So we're looking at 12:30 ETA if I left right now.
And that's not happening. You're at your mom's house. We'll see you tomorrow. It's the Nightcap, brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken, right here on BearcatJournal.com.
See ya!